After I watched the story trailer for Harold Halibut, I felt emotions. And that's kind of rare for me these days, at least from video game trailers. I'm used to seeing flashy action or pretty scenery, but I'm not used to feeling something. This video absolutely drew me in and left me with 1,000,001 questions. Games like this are the reason I started this channel in the first place. I wanted to share the lovingly and meticulously crafted projects of passionate people with those who may not come across them otherwise. Harold Halibut is a handmade narrative game about friendship and life on a city-sized spaceship submerged in an alien ocean. 250 years ago, the ship that many people now call home fled an Earth on the verge of Cold War to find a habitable planet. You play as Harold, a young lab assistant living on the ship, which is also known as the Fedora. Most people there have already come to terms with living a life under the sea, but there are still a few who are working on finding a way to leave the planet. Harold Halibut will be full of funny moments as you interact with the oddball residents living on the Fedora, but the whole game has the underpinnings of a grand and life-changing adventure just on the horizon. And that's because Harold finds out that Earth is actually thriving, and the Fedora and its inhabitants have a small window of time where they could possibly return home. But is the Earth even home anymore? The ship's residents have only ever known the inside of this metal shell. And that's where our story really starts. We'll meet more than 40 different characters who will deliver a total of 8 hours of fully voiced dialogue and motion-captured animations. The game will run between 12 and 18 hours. If none of that has you excited, then get this. Everything you see in the game has been created in the real world by the team at Slowbros. They're a group of about 12 people based in Germany and started creating Harold Halibut 10 years ago. This game is the definition of a passion project and a labor of love. And that's even furthered by the fact that every wall, eyeball, and screw was handcrafted in the real world and scanned into the game. The team members' backgrounds include video game production, filmmaking, carpentry, apparel, and illustration, and you can learn a little more about their process from the videos on the game's YouTube channel. Slowbro's goal was to create a world full of interesting events and meaningful encounters, and there's no doubt in my mind that they've achieved this. This is what the game's director had to say about the cast of characters you'll meet. The people living on this ship are supposed to represent a cross-section of what it might be like to isolate a human population for a long time. We tried to balance earthly contemporary conventions and an amplified game of telephone version of conventions from the past. So, since none of these people have ever stepped foot on Earth, all they know about the planet are stories that have been passed down and skewed by people's imaginations and memories. As for gameplay, this is a 2.5D adventure game, meaning movement is mostly side to side, but there will be depth to some of the scenes, like walking past the shop fronts. Most of the time, we'll be talking to characters, getting to know them, and helping them out with tasks around the ship. Occasionally, we'll be able to get a bit more hands-on with Harold's job by using screwdrivers to fix things and operating complex machinery. But the part that looks the most interesting to me is exploring the alien planet where the Fedora rests. It looks like there's a small submarine we'll use to navigate underwater passageways and possibly even meet other life forms. It seems that Harold is contacted by a creature living on the planet, and we get a tiny glimpse at the place they call home. If we get to explore here like we do on the ship, then I will be a very happy camper. I don't even think I need to say anything about this scene. Just go watch this trailer for yourself if you haven't already, and join this channel's Discord server so we can talk about it. All I want is for other people to experience this for the first time and feel as amazed as I did. Harold Halibut has pushed its way past some extremely promising titles like Nivalis and Skate Story, and into the place only one game can go. My most anticipated upcoming game. There's no release date for this one yet, but you can bet your boots I'll be back on here as soon as something is announced. But Slow Guys can take all the time they need.